Doug, come on, Ollie. Doug, have you got a joke? Doug, can you get on with it now? Instead of in the middle of my speech like last time? Come on, Doug.
Stand up, please.
Wasn't that clever? Right, my wife and I... Okay.
Stand up.
It took me far too long to propose to Laura. Partly because I was putting off this very moment. And not just because last time I wrote a groom speech, it was for my usher, Phil Howarth. And it was so badly misjudged that it got him booed. By all his friends and family. It wasn't really because of that though. It's because I've got a difficult line to tread here. I know that the trend these days is for grooms to go a bit mushy and a bit sentimental at this point, but that's not really in my nature. I'm a bit too uptight for that. If I try and sound sincere, I just sound sarcastic. But, and actually, if I did succeed in being gooey, then half my family would be sick anyway, including one of the bridesmaids, and I don't want to ruin her dress. On the other hand, if I don't go all gooey and sentimental, then all the girls are going to think I'm horrid. And that's particularly the case after two such excellent and loving speeches from Betsy and Jeff. Well done. But rather than try and follow that, I thought that I would just play it a bit safer. Talk about statistics.
Typical.
So first, thank you very much. Thank you very much to everyone for coming. I know it's a cliche, but it means a great deal, and it is great to see all of you. I wanted to figure out how much time we would have with each of you individually. So I did my sums, and after taking out an hour for the ceremony and 45 minutes for the speeches, 10 minutes in the taxi, and 5 minutes of going to the loo, it leaves us 2 minutes and 8 seconds with each of you, which is not anywhere near enough. Laura has dissuaded me from turning up today with a clipboard and a stopwatch. But while she's been preparing for today by looking at flowers and thinking about dresses, I've been practicing having 2-minute conversations with you, giving me an 8-second margin for error. I wanted particularly to thank Linda. Linda, thank you for everything that you've done to make today happen. And Jeff, thank you. Where are you? Thank you for saying yes when I called up to ask if I could marry Laura. I seem to remember you almost swerved off the road in shock, you said. And as I told you at the time, you shouldn't have been using your mobile phone while driving. Of course, the next thing you said was, have you got her pregnant then? To come back to statistics, 7% of brides are pregnant on their wedding day. But this is as close as I'll ever get to agreeing with the Occupy movement. We are the 93%. Talking of phone calls, 6% of grooms propose by phone. Bit lame. Not me though. I proposed at the top of a mountain in St Anton, which I thought was really romantic. So I was disappointed when Laura later described my proposal as business-like. Partly because it was a bit rushed, but mainly because I didn't take my goggles off. And I came in for similar criticism later in the day when we came down the hill and announced our good news to our chalet hosts Roy and June, who themselves have been married for 40 years. And Roy came out with that advice. You only need to know 2 words to have a happy marriage. Yes, dear. And Laura piped up, oh no, I don't think that applies to Ollie. I think his 2 words would either be stop that, or what now, or I'm hungry. Laura, I'm sorry. Being me. I will try to be good. On the subject of being me, I wanted to thank my mother and father. I've been unbelievably lucky in my parents, and I can honestly say that in 33 3/4 years of being around, I can't think of a single thing to complain about. It feels like a reverse of that Larkin poem that I can't recite because it's got a rude word in the first line. In a reverse of that, I think that all the good things about me are down to you, and all the bad things I've sort of come up with myself. Except for being a short pedant. Dad. The average family spends 38.5 minutes per month in meaningful conversation, but I think we've certainly done better than that over the past few months at least. So thank you for everything you've done for today and generally. Even if pretty much everything I've told Dad about the wedding has gone one ear and out the other. To come back to Laura, someone else who I find it difficult to complain about. I came across some research from the Max Planck Institute the other day, which says that older chaps who marry younger girls increase their life expectancy at the expense of their bride. And this is a greater. This trend is greater. The greater the life, the greater the age gap. Thankfully, we're not very far apart in years, but it's still true. Looking at the stats, to say Laura, as well as having given me some of the best years of my life, you've also given me one of yours. That said, as of about 2:15 today, you are now statistically the person who's most likely to kill me. So it's easy come, easy go, really. Thank you for all your presents, especially whoever gave us the knife block. It's felt like a pretty long engagement. But it's felt like 14 months, 2 days and 2 hours to be precise. We've actually, Laura, we've been engaged for 3.5% of our lives. Less than the national average of 18 months, which just seems a ridiculous amount. Oscar Wilde wouldn't have approved, and not just because I've married a girl. He said, "I disapprove of long engagements. They give the couple a chance to find out about each other's characters, which is inadvisable." Well, I seem to have got away with that one. Laura, thank you for saying yes. Thank you for coming. Wouldn't have been the same without you. I will tell you how I feel about that and how beautiful you look when all this lot have cleared off. At this point, I just want to insert a thank you to Jez for the cake, because I hadn't prepared it because I didn't realise how great it was going to be, but it is. Thank you. Thank you to my best man and ushers for being such great mates over the past 7 to 15 years. 63% of best men say that their speaking responsibilities have a negative impact on their enjoyment of the day. I just hope that it's that way round, rather than Tim's speaking responsibilities having a negative impact on your enjoyment of the day. Not to mention mine, mate. Before I hand you over to Tim, though, my last thank you is to Betsy and Lamorna, the bridesmaids. Laura particularly asked me to thank you for organising an excellent hen do. Thank you to Betsy for that, and thank you to Lamorna for all her her admin support, and her excellent bunting, even though she has another wedding of her own to think about fairly soon. So thank you to you both. Ladies and gentlemen, here's to the bridesmaids. Bridesmaids.